Hi everyone, thank you so much for your interest in our webinar recording. At ChildcareCRM, we create software for the childcare and early education industry. Our legacy CRM product focuses on helping you grow your enrollment by building meaningful relationships with families through the use of our marketing and sales automation technology. We also offer a digital enrollment solution called Childcare Forms to help you enroll families in a streamlined and contactless way. If you have any questions as you watch today's recording, please feel free to reach out to us. So Mike is our host today, Mike Hook. He's our VP of Sales here at ChildcareCRM. And today he's going to take us through what integrating your tech stack means and the impact it can have for your childcare center.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sierra, and thank you everybody who's joining us, whether it's the end of your day or a little bit after hours here in the US, or if you're kicking off your morning with us in Australia, grab your coffee, grab your tea. Thank you for coming. We're going to talk a little bit about saving staff time and increasing productivity with integrations. So the agenda for today is going through a little bit about the building blocks for success report, what our key findings were, why these integrations matter, what makes up your tech stack, so what are we integrating with, and finally wrapping it up with how the integrations will work. So the building blocks for success report. So for those of you who have joined us in the past, this is number 3 of 3 for our webinars going over our findings from this report. So this was from industry trends from our customers in both the US, Australia, and the 3 other countries that we serve, spanning 500 organizations with over 4,000 locations in total. So what were these findings that we had? So the first one in the first webinar we did was a strong online presence is essential for generating new leads and opportunities. So how are you meeting your parents where they're at? Completing tours promptly to keep your prospective families engaged and excited about enrollment. So how are we communicating? How are we getting them to a tour? And then texting is the best way to communicate with today's parents and guardians. So this is all about, again, meeting those millennial parents where they're at, making sure you're communicating in the right way. And then today, as I mentioned, the third and final webinar in this series is integrating your technology stack. So how do you help to generate new leads, increase your efficiencies, reduce your data entry, and ultimately use this to help increase your enrollments? All right, so we're going to kick things off here with a little poll. So everybody get ready. Want to know, which one of these challenges are you facing today? So is it unorganized and or outdated data, wasted staff time on repetitive tasks, lack of real-time updates across software platforms, difficult to manage data across multiple center locations, or new leads are occasionally overlooked and not entered into the CRM? So we see some votes coming in. We got about half of the attendees now have filled this out. And so we'll give a little bit more time for everyone to think about how their center and how their organization's running to fill this out. All right. Well, we got the majority of the group, so we'll give it about 10 more seconds, see if we can get everybody here to vote. So if you have not entered yet, please do, and we'll close it down in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and so our number 1 result, wasted staff time on repetitive tasks. So 60% of you see this as the biggest issue that you're facing right now. Followed up with new leads are occasionally overlooked and not entered into the CRM. So you guys are spending a lot of time doing extra tasks, things that are taking you away from growing enrollment, spending time with your community. A lot of leads being overlooked or not entered into into the CRM. So if that's the case, some of the things we'll talk about leading up into that, how are you guys getting the analytics behind how your center is performing? How are you making sure that you're communicating effectively? So these top two really key pivotal areas to your center, making sure that you both grow and maintain your enrollment. And we'll touch on them all a little bit more. So thank you everybody for participating in that. And we'll keep going. So what is the problem that we see that most people are facing today? So there's an application or a software solution for everything. But the problem and the question we ask is, how do you get your data syncing between all the different tools you use? So for those of you out there using multiple different systems, if there's an integration set up today, how's it helping you? If you guys don't have one, where are these mesh points? What's going on that's causing you maybe some friction in your process today? So the common issues that we hear is decreased productivity among staff. So 60% of you saying, we were spending extra time because we had to do work manually. The lack of real-time visibility. So if you're not entering leads into your CRM, how's that impacting visibility? And then the potential for increased family churn. So all of these tying into those top reasons that everybody out there mentioned. So these are really common. We see it all the time. We've heard it from our customers, and it's why we say integrations are so important, not only to make sure that you're using the technology correctly, but to make sure that your center is running as efficiently as possible. So problem number one, wasted employee productivity. No surprise here. So if your employees are using inefficient and disjointed processes, it increases errors, takes away time for the most important duties. So for instance, spending hours manually re-entering family information. So when we talk about wasted employee productivity, when we talk about manual data entry, I'm not going to say that nobody likes this. There are people out there who are very good at managing data, but the majority of us are not fans of doing this. And especially for our industry in childcare, being very focused on the community, being very focused on the children and how we can help educate the future generations, you don't want to spend your time inside. And you don't want to spend your time re-entering and keying in different information. So the community, the children are key. So making sure that you're not wasting this time, you can get back to that. And an added benefit of something like this is it allows you guys to get your staff set up to do the things they're passionate about and to do the things that they're best at. So over 40% of workers surveyed spend at least a quarter of their work week on manual, repetitive tasks with data collection and data entry. So that's 25%. So could you imagine what you'd be able to do with that time back? If you're at a corporate level, a regional, a C-level, what would you be able to do if you didn't have to worry about data entry? If you're a director on site, especially, how would you repurpose this time to maybe work on hiring new teachers, which we know is in high demand right now? How would you spend this with the families and the children, building out that community? And ultimately with something like this, maybe even generating some word of mouth. So this is a big feature right here. You guys all called it out too, 60%. So this is the number one issue that we were facing today. And it's not uncommon, and we're seeing it in a lot of centers and spaces. So problem number two, the lack of real-time visibility. So you could have duplicate records in your systems overlapping. So maybe multiple records in your CRM, multiple records in your management system, which are impacting your parent engagement. If you have these multiple records, it's really hard to get a detailed view of your center and understand how it's performing. So you'll get skewed data. So when you're looking at where can we improve, how can we increase our enrollments? Where do we need to message, and what type of marketing dollars do we need to spend, and where do we need to spend them at? Well, this lack of visibility can hurt you and delay or actually put you guys in a position where you're spending money in the wrong areas, you're focused on the wrong task. And look, we all make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. It happens to everybody. So one of the scenarios that you can hear from time to time is, let's say it's a busy day and someone's giving a tour, and a center director goes in, or someone from the centralized enrollment team goes in, and a family's ready to enroll, and all of a sudden you enroll them in your management system, but that record isn't kept in your CRM. Well, how are you going to know where that family came in from? How are you going to know and make sure that your records are matching? So these are real problems that we're seeing all the time because there's no integration in place and because these features are missing. So 62% of incorrect contact information in management system is caused by manual data entry or errors. It's hard. So if you guys have incorrect information that's in your management system, what are some of the pitfalls of this? Well, if you need to market to a family that maybe was on temporary withdrawal, or a family that left for some reason, if you guys need to reach out for re-enrollment and you guys can't do that, or use a quick communication because there's a snow day, like we had here in Texas not too long ago last week. If you had inaccurate information, how would that impact your family's experience with you? What about being able to market to these groups? The information here is vital, and it's so easy to make a mistake when you're doing multiple records time and time again. And so when we see statistics that are really high like this and what their impact is, it's because a 1 instead of a 0, an 8 instead of a 7, just a little slip of the finger could have a long-lasting impact. The next thing we're seeing and falling right into the communication is increased family churn. So our marketplace is competitive, and it's become more so over the last couple of years. So with this fierce competition, providing an exceptional enrollment experience, and once a family's enrolled, an exceptional experience to that family when their child's in care is going to be paramount to your success, not only in getting that family once, but in retaining them and keeping them throughout the lifetime that they're there with you and your organization. So one part of this is communication. And so again, going back to that outdated information, it's really important to have so that you can communicate effectively. One of my favorite examples that I always like to use is if you have multiple systems you're using and one is your source of truth that you're updating, a lot of times this will be the child's age, what classroom they're in. And maybe you're using a different system to send out your communications, but you didn't advance that child in the other system as well. Well, now you're sending inaccurate information to that family, and there's going to be a huge level of confusion there. And that confusion, when you're talking about confusion with someone's child, that impact is lasting and that impact is immediate. So by having data that's not clear, by missing on a communication just a little bit, the margin for error here is so small that a family could decide to seek care elsewhere. And the return and the dollars on that, it is significant. So making sure that you're monitoring this time and time again to make sure that your systems are accurate, that you're communicating effectively to the right families in the right way with the right message will set you apart from your competition. So 63% of parents would switch childcare providers if they found a center that offered an improved parent communication than their current provider. So how are you making sure that everything's up to date? So that's a really high number. And to some of you, it might be alarming. It was for me the first time I saw it. I was surprised that parents would switch so quickly. But in today's day and age where communication is both personalized, it's quick, it's relevant, and when you're speaking about someone's child, the most valuable thing in the world to them, this number starts to make a little bit more sense and why people are willing to move so quickly if they feel you're not communicating with them in a relevant and accurate manner. So what's the solution here for all of these problems? It's an integration. So when we say integration, we mean the process of combining two pieces of software in order to help data be consolidated and accurate across both of them. So in an independent study, by using integrations, company can accelerate their time from initial inquiry to conversion by up to 50%. So that time a new family reaches out to when they become an enrolled family is really shrunk down. And in one of our earlier benchmark webinars that we gave, we called out that right now what we're seeing is the best and top converting centers are getting from new inquiry to tour in 24 hours, 79% of people. So these integrations help you finish that back half of the way, getting them through the enrollment process, their registration paperwork done, and shrinking that down. And this means increased sales productivity by up to 12.5%. So get rid of the manual work, get rid of the data entry, and start getting back to the things that matter, the things that are helping you guys connect and engage with your communities. So businesses that utilize software integrations primarily for data entry processes save an average of 3.8 hours per day. So if you're a center director, you might be thinking, well, that number seems a little bit high, and it may be if you're on site in a center. If you're at an organizational level or you're thinking about implementing a centralized enrollment or admissions team, this number might not be high enough. Because when you think about who's got your enrollment, where it's coming from, who's managing these, how many things they have to put into a system, and as you scale up in size, this issue becomes bigger and bigger, and the error is compound and compound. So again, if you're looking at this for all of our 1 or 2 center directors who are joining us today, maybe 3.8 hours seems a little bit high, but if you're running a shop all on your own and everything's up to you, even if this number is 1 hour, that's significant. If you're a business and it does get into this almost 4 hours or higher, all of a sudden it's, well, that's the difference between a multitude of tasks and over a full day in a given week when you add it all up. So defining your tech stack. So when we talk about systems and integrations, what systems do we need to integrate and what systems should we be looking at? So when we talk about a tech stack, we're talking about a set of technology, software, and programs that work together to help you guys run your business. So within the childcare industry, when we talk about our tech stack, what are we talking about? We're talking about our lead gen platforms, our lead management software, and the post-enrollment management systems. And when we look at the ecosystem of childcare, the way that we really break this up is there's 2 segments. So that dotted line right in the middle of the screen, if you go north of that to the top of your screen, we're talking about the pre-enrollment area. So all of your center marketing and your lead generation. So down in Australia, your Care for Kids and your Toddles. In the States, you've got the Winnie and the kids side, the care.com and the Grow Your Center. So all of these different platforms and marketing companies that are working hard for you to help give parents a place to find your center, to market to these parents, and ultimately to get these parents to come to you. Then the CRMs and how you capture those leads and move them. So that would be us here, childcare CRMs, and then childcare forms for the parent enrollment process. And this, all the top stuff right here will take you all the way up to when the parents get their paperwork filled out and decide to move forward. So dropping down into this post-enrollment section of our ecosystem, you've got the parent engagement softwares and the management systems. So the Kangaroo Times, the Daycare Works, the Quick Kids and the Explorers, the Pro Cares and KidSoft, so many that are listed here, all of these management systems. So what this allows you to do and what we're looking at here is what we refer to as the best in breed solutions. So specialization across each unique function, allowing you to pick a company that is an expert in a given area of this tech stack. And as an expert, they're the best at what they do. So now, this allows you through integrations to use these companies that are the best at what they do to speak to each other and help you supercharge your business. So, taking a little break here, we're going to kick it off with another poll. And I'm going to get this up right now. So, which childcare listing platforms does your organization use to market your centers? So we'll give you guys some time to answer these questions here. All right, a couple people starting to chime in here. All right, we got about half of you guys so far who have filled this out. So we'll give it a little bit more time here, maybe about 10 more seconds, see if we can give the rest of you a little bit of time, finish it out here. Only a couple more left. We'll close it down in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so care for kids, 30%, other at 50%. So if you voted other and you're comfortable telling us who you're using for a listing platform, we would love to know in the chat who you guys are using and what platform you guys have set up currently. And then management system. So Quick Kids, all right, our Aussie crew out there representing and showing strong. So a lot of Quick Kids users, the clear favorite. Same thing. So if you are comfortable sharing and you're using one of the other softwares, other management systems, we would love to know. And if you wouldn't mind sharing it in the chat, that would be great. But no pressure to do so. We appreciate you voting. So the lead generation platform. So this is all about increasing your inquiries. So getting more parents to your front door or virtual front door, as so to speak. So 46% of our current customers are utilizing lead gen and the integrations that come with those in one way or another. So what we've noticed is that businesses that utilize online listing or some type of directory service are 80% more likely to be found by prospective customers than those who don't. This makes sense. And why? These lead gen companies, when we talk about these best in breed solutions, well, what do? They help you with your search engine optimization. They help you when parents go to search, have more areas for parents to find you. These companies do their own marketing, right? So the Toddles down in Australia, the Care for Kids, like we talked about, I know those were some of the big ones that came up in the poll here, as well as the other company. These companies are marketing. Parents, when they're going to look, they're seeing these. They're going to these platforms. It might be a first place. So it's almost allowing you as a center, whether it be a center director or an organization, to market your center twice. Market through the listing platform's work, and then market through your own. And then businesses that have online listings on industry-specific directories are 50% more likely to convert a prospect to a customer than those without. Why? Well, again, some of these might be one-stop shops. Parents might be going to a Toddle. Parents might be going to a Kinside or a Winnie, and that's where they're searching. So they're seeing a trusted site. They know these are good. They're going and converting. So spending time making sure that you're on here has a big impact. But then, so what? You're on there, you get them. Well, having an integration with the next part of the tech stack, with that CRM, is important, because CRMs, they have the marketing automation. They have automated workflows that will help capture the leads and engage with families right away. And in one of the early webinars, when we talked about the importance of quick responses and meeting millennials where they're at, well, this integration allows that to happen. So now somebody fills out and a parent inquires for care through one of the listing platforms. The parent's name and all their contact information will flow right into ChildcareCRM. Now, once they're in our system, our workflows start going to work for you as well. So automated emails, as I mentioned, go out with your brand and your template, encouraging parents to maybe schedule their own tour, or that you'll be reaching out shortly. And then tasks are assigned for the center directors to call and follow up to schedule that tour. And that's how we shrink down that window I was talking about a little bit earlier, getting parents to tour quicker. And so now the communication has begun. You're starting to get accurate information. And this is that first point where if you don't have this integration set up and you are using a listing platform, or even if you're just using your website as your main lead gen source, these parents' informations are coming into an email or coming into another area, where now to manage those, you're starting to do the manual entry. So this is point one where an issue could arise. What does organization use? So we did already answer this. Big Quick Kids group that we've got here with us today. So I'm not going to reopen the poll. I think almost everybody answered, and it was 90% QK. And why are these important as well? So these management systems are crucial to your business. Within the management systems, it does your invoicing, classroom and staff management, the administration, the engagement. I know with Quick Kids, if you're using the Quick Kids Enroll, it's actually sending out that individual parent enrollment information. It's working with the subsidies. So 57% of our centers are currently using a management system, and that integration to help oversee those enrolled families and help make sure that all the information is correct when they do get into care. And so how does this part of the integration work? So we've gone through our lead gen, we've captured the parents' information, and we've got them into ChildcareCRM. Now we're going to be able to capture that information, use the system and the automation to get that family to Toward. And because you've done such an excellent job, that family's ready to be registered. Well, once they do register and they decide to move forward with you, the next step without an integration would be to manually enter that information into a management system, into your QKs or your ProCares or your Kangaroo times. So this is another area where there's a chance to maybe fat finger a key or two. But with these integration, things like the parent's name, the child's name and their birth date, all the contact information, their schedule, their classroom is automatically going to go directly into your management system. So you'll have up-to-date, accurate records in that management system. Now, what does this mean too? Now these families are enrolled. So perhaps you want to use a platform like ChildcareCRM to do your ongoing communication to enrolled families. Perhaps you have a second communication platform that you want to use, or you're using your management system. Well, this is now that parent experience. This is where it's really important for everybody to make sure that that information is up to date, so you're communicating at the right time. And the two-way integration, as we like to call it, the management system passing back the parent's name or child's name or birth date. So any type of updated information will come back into ChildcareCRM. So the example I gave a little bit earlier today, well, if you're using your management system as your source of truth and you update that child's age and they go into the next classroom, but in your communication software, whether that be an unintegrated CRM, whether that be a MailChimp that you're trying to use, if you don't make sure that you're updating that family, then you're going to be sending the wrong information at the wrong time and risk losing them down the line. So these integrations allow all the systems to communicate. Likewise, if a family does withdraw and you need to use a drip campaign or something else within the CRM, so some type of communication method or some type of promotion, you could do that knowing that the information's up to date and actually go retarget families who have left your centers. If you are new to ChildcareCRM and you're interested in learning more about our platform, about our integrations, our phone number, 866-301-1985. You can also email sales@childcarecrm.com. And if you're a current customer of ours and you're interested in integrations, give us a call as well. So it's going to be that same number, or you can email support@childcarecrm.com as well.